Hey guys, welcome to the Calvary Chapel Salmon podcast. It's good to see everyone today. Me and Hagen, I'm Jordan. Jordan and Hagen, we're talking here on the stage of Calvary Chapel Salmon. Sometimes I like to look out and imagine that you all are just sitting in the sanctuary and we're just talking to you. But
Wow.
the sanctuary is empty. These chairs are empty. But we're still talking to you
Yes.
through the magic of the internet.
Yes.
Hagen, how you doing today?
Pretty good. How come you're wearing a jersey?
Because the Eagles won on Sunday. Go Birds. Remember that lady? So it's like the Philadelphia mayor. She's at this Philadelphia rally, whatever. And she's like trying to like pander to the crowd who likes the Eagles. And she's like, and we all know the chant. Everyone say it with me. Go Eagles. E-G-L-E-G. And she just messes it up so bad.
It's hard to spell that way, actually.
Eagles. E-A-G-L-E-S.
Well, any word, like when you do it out like that. Yeah.
Spell me trust.
T-R-U-S-T.
Wow, now give me one. Give me like a really hard word.
Yeah. I don't even know. Confidence?
C-O-N-F-I-D-E-N-C-E. I think so.
Sure.
Fact check me if I'm wrong. But yeah. Spelling can be hard though. Not everyone, or reading. Recently you got some flack for your reading ability. Maybe from someone who is a leader in a leadership position in this church.
Someone gave me a hard time about
Yeah.
my reading.
Yesterday during the meeting, yeah. They were really giving you a hard time.
It's fine.
Lee was like, "It's okay, baby." He called you baby. It was
Did
so
he?
yeah, remember?
No.
Something along those
I
lines.
think
Yeah,
I've heard that.
Avery remember, right? Avery remembers that. He was like I don't know. Yeah, not baby in like a mean way, but just like in like an old funny person way. Yeah. like in I love you kind of way.
Well, Jordan, we've been talking about parables of Jesus,
Yes, we have.
but we're going to pause that just for this week.
Pause that
And
series.
we're going to deal with a question that's been texted in to us that I think is important for us to talk about.
Are we going to answer this question on Wednesday as well or no?
Maybe not as in-depth. We'll see
Okay.
how many more questions we get submitted.
Maybe we'll just
Wednesday.
read the question and say, if you want to hear the answer to this, you have to tune in on Friday.
There you go. So the question is this: how should we as Christians fight against the evil that runs rampant in our country? Praying about it and simply talking to our like-minded friends does not seem to be affecting much change. I feel like those of us that want to stand for good are doing nothing more than standing on the sidelines watching it run unchecked. I struggle with what is appropriate to take action on, or what actions are appropriate in such times as now.
It's a good question.
So obviously this was sent last Thursday, so the day after Charlie Kirk got assassinated, and people were watching that unfold and trying to just figure out what to do about that whole situation, and so that kind of stirs this in the hearts and minds of people, and I think it's good to see that people want to try to do something.
Sure.
That they see something going on that's not right. They see something going on that's evil. They want to do something to come against that evil, to try to correct it, to try to make sure it doesn't happen again. But there's just this feeling of like, well, what do you do? So what do you do, Jordan?
Yeah. What can you do?
What
do
you do?
What can
What
you
do you
do?
do?
What can you do? What do you do? Well, there's a lot of things that you can do. But yeah, I think I definitely agree with the idea. It's like there's just momentum right now. People are being woken up to the world and the evilness in our world, and they want to do something about it. And you don't want to waste this momentum. You don't want to waste this moment. Maybe we were born for such a time as this. And it's like we're in this place where it's like maybe we can really make a real change in our country. And it's like, well, okay, now how can we kind of ride this wave this wave that's kind of started from Charlie Kirk being assassinated. How can we take advantage of this moment? And I think partially is doing the things that we already know that we're supposed to be doing. I think there's a lot of truth there. It's like going to church, being the best husband you can be, being the best father if you're a father you can be, really being intentional with those important relationships, just being a witness for Christ wherever you're at in your workplace or whenever you can, just being intentional with those relationships. And prayer is super important. So just kind of keeping all those foundational things intense and keeping up with those, I think, is super important. But maybe the idea is like, okay, now what's something out of the ordinary that I could do? Is that maybe the heart of the question?
I don't know, but I do. I mean, in the question it was asked, and I definitely understand this feeling at times where it's something like
Sitting on the sidelines.
Sitting on the sidelines, but then when it doesn't look like that, just like praying and talking to like-minded people about the situation is helping. So it's like there's this frustration maybe between praying about situations and then looking at what seems to be a terrible outcome or not an outcome I would do if I was in charge. So being like discouraged, it's like, well, what am I even supposed to be praying? And I am praying and it doesn't seem to be helping because this stuff's happening anyway. So it can kind of discourage that.
Yeah, posting on Facebook isn't helping anything.
Really?
And yeah, you can kind of feel it's like maybe in a week everyone's just going to forget about this. Or like hopefully not.
Yeah.
But it's just like everyone's all fired up about it now. We're all kind of talking to each other. But then in a week from now, in the 2 weeks from now, how much is life going to be different? And the answer might be not too much. And yeah, like not wanting to, miss this momentum that we have, miss this moment that we have. Yeah, just try to talk to people who aren't like-minded. That's probably the answer.
Yes.
Yeah.
That goes well.
Break out, maybe be purposeful in breaking out of your bubble. And I think that can look like a lot of different ways. But we all definitely get trapped in our bubbles. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things I've heard a lot this week that I want to talk about is, we sometimes like to paint with like broad brushes when something like this happens. So it's like what I'm hearing a lot from the conservative side of things, and I understand it a little bit, but let me say what I want to say, and then we'll talk about it. Okay. They say, this is what they do. They can't handle a civil debate. Therefore, they act out in violence. Here's what happened. A person did a bad thing. Now, how did they come to this ideology? That's a question we're still trying to figure out. Were they part of online groups or in-person groups that radicalize them to believe this way? But don't get too caught up into this us and them when it was a person on person. Where this is, though, much bigger than that is, and this is why I think it's such a big deal, and whether if it was true or not, it is now true. And that is that Charlie Kirk was not just a person, he represented an idea of conservatism, of biblical Christianity, of the next generation rising up, of traditional Christian values. So that's why people in the conservative camp are making such a big deal out of this, because it is a big deal, but because we're not interpreting it as an attack on a person, although it was, it's an attack on, if you will, our way of life and on our ideology. And there is the exact opposite worldview out there that exists that thinks all of those things that Charlie Kirk stood for and that we would be in agreement with, that they think a biblical view of things is worth silencing. So in that way, it is us versus them. But in another way, it was an individual against an individual. So just kind of sifting through all that.
Sure.
And in a sense, and although I think it's supposed to be this way, and I think Charlie would have wanted it.
Oh, wow. What would have Charlie wanted?
In a
You tell me.
sense, people are sensationalizing this.
Mm-hmm.
They are using this to propagate something.
Mm-hmm.
I believe they're using it to propagate the movement that he committed his life to and to continue truth. But this is definitely being grabbed and used, which the argument would be it needs to be, because if it doesn't get used, then in a sense it was pointless. What he died for was pointless. So we need to take this crazy event that happened and we need to use it to push forward this vision and this mission that he had. And that is happening.
Sure. I mean, it's so interesting to me. It's so weird to me. The guy who did kill him is just like this 22-year-old kid. And I guess he's not confessing to it, but it seems pretty obvious that he did it. I don't know if he will confess. And just the whole story with his dad's the sheriff, and his dad kind of turned him in or encouraged him to turn him in or whatever. And it's just kind of, the details are interesting there. But it's just like, it's been confirmed he was dating a transgender boy who pretending to be a girl. And it's just like all these interesting, but then it's like, how do you go from this weird liberal kid living in Utah to I'm going to climb up on a roof and shoot someone?
Yeah.
It just seems like a strange radical jump. And I don't know, maybe. And so, like, I agree with you. Like, it's a person killing a person, but this person, this 22-year-old guy, is clearly being influenced by something.
Sure.
Something, and there's a larger force at play that wanted Charlie Kirk dead.
Right. So there's also the spiritual thing behind this.
Sure,
so not only is it a person on person, an ideology against ideology, I do believe this was an attack of evil on good. Like,
definitely.
I believe you can boil that down on a spiritual level and say that is what happened that day as well. So all these layers are consisting of it. And in one sense, it's very shocking, an assassination. In another sense, I do kind of ask the question, I'm surprised this doesn't happen way more.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty easy to accomplish.
Yes.
If you
it's
wanted
not
to.
impossible to assassinate someone,
It's
especially if you're willing to go down with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
it'd be so easy. You could kill anyone you want as long as you're willing to die too.
Which then leads me to this other theory that I have, and that is that history has a way of repeating itself, and the last large group of prominent assassinations were in the 60s. JFK, his brother, RFK Sr., which is just crazy to think that the president gets killed and his brother, several years later, gets killed as well. Like, that's just insane that both those Kennedy brothers get assassinated. And Martin Luther King Jr. All of these three guys get killed in the 60s. And then, unless I'm wrong, for the most part, people they did shoot at Reagan and they missed. And then it wasn't until last year when there was an attempted assassination on Trump and now a successful one on Charlie Kirk. My point is, in this flow of things, in the 60s, assassinations happened to these big prominent people, and then there was this, I think, quite a gap of a generation where it wasn't a thing, and then it's back again. And the reason why that just interests me is because we know that also in the late 60s and the 70s, something started to take place spiritually, the Jesus Revolution. So politically, all this stuff's going on in this terrible unrest of stuff, and it's manifesting itself through all sorts of areas of life, but one of them are these public assassinations. And then that almost kind of leaves, and now that's coming back again. And I like to believe that we're watching this wave come back around. And although it's not the same flavor as the 60s, it's a different issues. We're seeing the same type of things happening. And I'm hoping, and I can almost even think that we've even just seen it this week, that with that there is this massive spiritual work that's taking place behind the scenes. So.
Yeah. No, hopefully there's this big old revival. That's what Charlie would want.
Yes.
Charlie, yeah, and Charlie is different, or he was different than many other political commentators because of his Christian faith. Like, he was clearly very outspokenly Christian. And there's a whole bunch of commentators who would say they're Christian or who say they're in that category, but who don't really work in Jesus into what they do. And Charlie very clearly worked in Jesus and Christianity into everything that he did, which just makes him being the one who gets shot all the more intense and all the more interesting, because it's just like, yeah, it's like he's not just some political guy who got shot. It's like this martyr almost, and in a sense that's kind of cool, because it's like, hey, it should hype us up as Christians. Be like, okay, like, hey, this is what Jesus talks about. They're gonna hate you, they're gonna revile you, and blessed are you. And it's like, we want to have that mindset of like, persecution can be a good thing that God can use.
Yeah, and then seeing literally just in real time as this played out, and it hasn't even been a week since we're recording this, that exactly like it happens time and time again throughout the Bible and in the book of Acts, of the enemy trying to silence a voice, it literally multiplies it extremely.
Sure.
And it's like not a beat has been missed, and not only that, it's compounded way more than it ever would have if it never happened.
Sure.
Which is just crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's like we're trying to, I mean, they say they want to start 32,000 new chapters of Turning Points, start 32,000 more new clubs. Hopefully, if we can be one of them, that would be awesome. Because it's something that we never would have done.
Yeah. One of the questions, or one of the ideas, I guess the question part of it was, what are you supposed to do? And it's like, really the vision and the ministry of what Charlie Kirk was doing was the answer. Because here's what he was doing. Well, here's what happened, so then here's what he did. What happened was, in the previous generation, it appears, just by observation, that Christians tuned out and dropped out. And they were not involved politically. They were not involved in public education. And it opened up the door for that to get infiltrated or hijacked by the left. That's what's happened. So now we're living in this extreme world going, how did this happen? Well, it happened because nobody was involved. So then what does Charlie do? He starts a movement amongst young people to get them involved in politics and a biblical conservative viewpoint. And he's literally training them up. And it takes time, but that's okay, because it's gonna pay off, because these kids have to learn what truth is. They got to actually believe it. They got to realize it's true. Then they get old enough to actually go out into the world and make a difference, and they do. But you got to get the pool. You got to get all the seeds, and that's what he's doing. He was building the seeds to go into our parable. He was building the seeds to throw into the world. And that's not the only ministry that does it, but that's exactly what Turning Point USA is trying to accomplish and is accomplishing. And that is how you will help balance what's going on in America right now. It didn't happen overnight. You're not going to fix it overnight. We've let these ideologies become normalized that are not, and the only way you're going to balance it back out is by teaching truth, finding out a real clear way to be able to get people, specifically the next generation, involved in things like politics, and let them infiltrate and set it back.
Yeah. The answer is being involved, getting Christians in government, getting Christians in the public school, which is just, there's a real pushback to that. I think in Christianity, people are just, because like you said, it's been normalized, this idea of, well, we just need to kind of do our own thing.
Mm.
And it's like, no, we need to be involved and fight for what we have.
Because it's discouraging. It's easier to just be like, I'm done. Like, these people are idiots. They're not understanding the truth. They believe the dumbest things. I don't want to go to these city council meetings, or I don't want to go to these school board meetings, or I don't want to get involved with what's going on in public schools because it's just discouraging. So I'm just going to drop out and isolate.
Move to Idaho.
And do these things with just circle up with my own family, and at least we'll be okay, even though society's not. And it's like, that's what gets you here, because then guess who remains? The crazy people. That's all who's left. The crazy people who don't know Jesus.
Yeah.
So the only way you're going to be able to affect things is if you are still a part of things. If you keep pulling yourself up. This came up in the meeting we were having yesterday. The two words that came out were isolation or infiltration. You're either isolating yourself as a Christian, and that's your viewpoint, and it's the world's evil, and I have to pull out, and I have to huddle up, and I just have to protect myself and my family from the evils of this world, and hold on, and hopefully we'll get through it, and, the world be damned. Or you see the exact opposite viewpoint, which is infiltration, and we realize that he that is in us is greater than he that is in the world, and we have nothing to fear, and we can go forth in boldness, and we can try to get things back on track. So, yeah,
that's what you want to do. That's the answer. I'm trying to look up. There's this guy named G.K. Chesterton, who was super old. He was even before C.S. Lewis. So that's really old.
Whoa.
Like really old. But he had like all these really great quotes about being a patriot and being a patriot of the world, and this idea that we're supposed to like love the world and hate the world at the same time. And like this idea of like loyalty to the place that you grew up in. And it's like, you're not just supposed to let the place you grew up in go to hell, like you're supposed to fight for it. And it's like, I think that's like we said, like that's such a the idea is such like, well, I'll just move to where I'm safe, move to where I'm comfortable, move to where people agree with me, and just kind of huddle up there. It's like, no, be loyal to the place that God put you. Like God made you an American. Fight for America.
There you go.
God had you born here for a reason. And we're so like, well, let me just like, people get so weird of like spiritualizing things and just being like, well, no, we're not going to care, and we'll just, it's like this, and they act like this physical world's like evil, and we're just gonna wait for heaven. It's like, no, this physical world
for that. A heresy?
Not Gnosticism. Yeah, they're Gnostics. Bunch of Gnostics running around. It's like, no, this world is good, and we want to fight for it and be a patriot for this world. And Jesus came to this world, and he was a human and lived in this world. And it's like, we want to fight for it. And Charlie Kirk famously talked about how like Daniel, Nehemiah, and Mordecai were all these famous people in the Bible who were involved in politics, who were counselors to kings in secular governments, not in like the Israel Christian government, we would say, but in secular governments. They were in politics. They were trying to affect the nation that they were in, because that's where God had them at the time. And so they were trying to make a difference.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, you want to, yeah, it's just annoying and frustrating when there's like the pushback of, no, we'll just spiritualize everything, and we'll just try and get people saved and not really care about like anything. It's like, no, it's like, there's something here to fight for. So,
yeah.
Because all these pastors aren't talking about Charlie Kirk on Sunday morning, Hagen. What's up with that?
I don't know.
Yeah, that is kind of frustrating.
I actually, people were saying pretty quickly, even like just local friends that I have on Facebook, how they had friends that were like celebrating. And it's like, I didn't see any of that until a few days in, and I had one Facebook friend
who was celebrating what was Charlie Kirk dying.
Celebrating the sense of virtually, he got what was coming to him.
Yeah.
Like no one deserves to be killed, but kind of an attitude. And it is out there. It made me realize maybe my 1,200 Facebook friends are much more like-minded than I thought they were.
Sheesh.
But also, and I shouldn't say this, But I'm also friends with several people in this community who are very public on Facebook, politically and socially, about uh, being anti-Trump,
Mm-hmm.
and they're constantly posting things about that or other things going on. And yet this week, crickets.
Mm.
And in a sense, their lack of posting speaks volumes, because these are people who love posting stuff that's going on, and they are not saying a word. And there's a reason.
Yeah, I think it goes back to like the like you mentioned, like the us versus them mentality, where it's like, sure, like you don't want to just huddle everyone who doesn't love Donald Trump into one group that likes murdering people. That's not
Right.
good.
See, so
That's not good. Yeah.
right, so because leading liberals, I mean, the first person on Gavin Newsom's podcast was Charlie Kirk. I do not think Gavin Newsom wants Charlie Kirk dead.
Sure.
He had him on his podcast. They were friends.
Mhm.
Gavin Newsom's son likes Charlie Kirk. I don't think he's like a leading liberal in America. I don't think he sees this as a victory at all.
Mhm.
So he is the them that
Sure.
we talk about, one of them, and I don't think he is at
Yeah.
all pleased with this.
But there is also a large them out there who do celebrate and who
Sure.
do have this weird mentality where it's like it's okay for us to riot and burn down stuff when some black guy dies who is overdosing on drugs.
Sure.
But why are you upset when this guy who was literally shot in the head just for speaking his opinions? Like, why are you crying over him?
Yeah.
It's like, well, wait, like there is a movement or a spirit or whatever that's I wish was super super rare. I wish it was just like the 0.1%, but I don't think it is the 0.1%. I think there's people who are just like deceived like that.
Sure.
And yeah, you just want to fight against that mentality and put light on that and speak truth into that. Like, hey, this is a double standard. This is not right. Show them what Charlie Kirk actually stood for. And yeah, speak truth into that, because yeah, that's a really, yeah, it's not as rare as people would say.
Yeah.
So I think there is a them in a sense, but you want to be careful with them language, because
Sure.
them language can get out of hand very quickly.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Them Democrats, Democrats.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I heard many reports from all across this country of churches being full this last week,
Which is good.
of people for whatever this did inside of them, that it got them saying, I want to go to church. So that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, I don't know. I guess it goes back to the idea of like people on Facebook who are super like hoorah, like we need to keep Charlie Kirk going. It's like back to the question. It's like, okay, but what are we gonna do? We can gather together and say, yeah, well, let's go, blah blah blah. It's like, but like, okay, like what are our practical steps forward so that next week it's not just back to the status quo. It's like, again, how do we capitalize on this moment to actually make a difference and not just have it be another thing,
Yeah, he did probably 2 years ago now, maybe even 3, this thing with Jack Hibbs at Calvary Chapel, Chino Hills. Charlie Kirk was there, and he was giving this talk with Jack and like this interview. And I remember something that stuck out. He said something along the lines of like very practical things, and he was just like never lie, and just like tell the truth in whatever situation you're in. And similarly, honestly, to kind of the message we just had this past Sunday, like have boldness, tell the truth, don't cave in, don't let them twist you, don't let them redefine terms, don't let them bully you into thinking you're a bigot because you won't address people by their preferred pronouns, or like just don't buy into the game. Just hold your ground, know what truth is, stand on it, be loving, but like don't compromise. And to me, if everyone can just kind of grab a hold of that from what Charlie seemed to model well, that will make a big difference.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think just change. The only way you're going to change anything is if you change the world that you're in.
wow.
Yeah, that's
Everyone
profound.
wants to change the world,
But just change your
but
world.
have they changed your world?
My world. Yes. Their world. Change their world. Yeah, just like change your family for the better, change your school for the better, change your town for the better, and change your country for the better. And yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's how it works.
And that's where we get so off track when we start voting for presidents, because we think we're going to get a good president, this is going to straighten things out. Like if it's top down, it's not top down, it's bottom out, it's bottom up, it's little to big. You change a nation not by having the right guy in charge. You change a nation by the families being in line, by the communities being in line, by churches being in line, by schools being in line, by states being in line. Then those states are united in a nation, the United States. And then the country's changed. But it's not this guy at the top waves a wand and now we're back on track. You got to build up. And you start, honestly, with the kids.
Sure. Yeah.
That's where you have to start. And you build up.
Yeah. And yet, I mean, listen to Dave Ramsey. And Dave Ramsey talks about when you pay off debt, which I've never done, but I'm sure it's very hard.
Never been in debt.
Never been in debt. Well, I guess I am in debt right now, my house, but not credit card debt. You start the smallest one and you work your way up. Because for change to be permanent, you need to see progress. That's how we work as humans. So, and this is true kind of spiritually too. We see this all the time, especially me and you, where it's like we go to this summer camp or we do this like retreat and everyone's like, hoorah, Jesus, we love Jesus. But then they don't change anything practically about their life. And then 2 weeks later, it's gone.
Yeah.
There's nothing, because there was no progress. They didn't implement anything. So for this hoorah-ness that we're feeling right now over Charlie Kirk, there needs to be some sort of little progress, little change made. If in anything, then just in your personal life, like you were talking about, stop lying to yourself or stop lying to other people so you can see that progress and then work from there. Because if you try to like tackle the big thing and you don't see any progress there, you're just going to give up and go back to your old ways, because we need to see some sort of progress. We need to psychologically, something needs to happen, and then we can build from there. So, yeah, that's another reason why we just have to start small, because that's the only way it's going to work.
Yeah, there's someone just this past week who came to church. They've been coming to church for a couple months now. And, man, I wish I could tell the story of how these individuals started coming to church. But if I could tell you everything I knew about the situation, it would blow your mind that God could use that to do this. It's so crazy. And I can't tell it because it's not my story to tell, but it's insane. But one of these people on Sunday, second service, they just walk in. And again, they've only been coming to church regularly for just the past couple months. And they just make a comment like something along the lines of like, we're so glad to be here, especially this week. And it's like they just see the value in coming here on Sunday and worshiping Jesus and having the word of God and truth taught to them. And as there's just this obvious evil in the world, here's someone that I'm seeing young in Jesus, mature, and they're just recognizing this is where I need to be. And like, to me, that's a small change that is just like, yes, like that's it. That's what this is about. You're getting it. This is awesome. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that's super cool. And the opposite of that is obviously this idea where people are all, we need to change America, we need to do this, we need to do that, but then they're not willing to wake up on Sunday and go to church. And it's like that, yeah, it's like, and it's like, okay, like we don't judge people when they don't come to church. We don't bring it up. We're not like, where were you?
Sure.
But it's just like, if you want to see change, you need to change. There needs to be progress. And you need to start with the small things and work your way up. And the smallest, simplest thing is, am I going to go surround myself with believers and worship Jesus and hear the word on Sunday? And if the answer is no, then how in the world are you supposed to change anything else? You know?
Yeah.
So it's just like, yeah.
I mean, right over here where they sit Caleb Miller on Sunday, he brought 2 of his friends to church.
Yeah.
It's like, there you go.
Yeah.
If everyone last week brought 2 of their friends to church, plus they themselves actually came, it's like, there's something.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a great example from he's not 10, is he? I was going to say 10-year-old, but he's probably older than that.
Yeah, he's probably a little older.
It's like, hey.
His brother's in high school, and he's like 2 years younger.
Yeah.
So he's in 7th grade, whatever that
Yeah.
means. 7th grade can mean many things. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think for sure. That's super cool. Yeah, and it's just like focusing on the little victories like that, where it's like, hey, that's super cool. Let's build from there. Let's do that again. That's awesome. So, yeah.
So I think we both agree, and I think most people at large, and I can't really explain it, but something spiritually took place last week. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
That there was a turning point in the spiritual realm.
Yes, amen.
No pun intended.
Of course.
There's a turning point in the spiritual realm, and that it appeared to, in a sense, wake some people up. And I'm telling you, you saw this with COVID, and you're seeing this here, and these are 2 very different things, but they're the same. Well, also what this is doing is this is proving, and I hate to say it like this because it almost looks like I'm validating myself, but this is proving, in my opinion, worthwhile churches.
Yeah.
How people reacted to COVID, how people are reacting to this. This is separating
the wheat from the chaff.
Yeah, this is doing a separation, and people are seeing it. People who attend churches are sensitive to these things, and they're watching how their pastors are navigating this stuff and how they're dealing with it. And many of them keep failing the test, many of these churches. And I personally believe that you're going to see those churches disappear here within the next 10 years.
Yeah.
And the only churches that are going to remain are those that believe the truth and teach the truth and do not compromise.
Yeah.
I really do believe that.
And it seems just so foreign to me. It's like, how could you not mention something like this on Sunday morning? And it's just like, yeah, but it happened all over the place. People just kind of like, no, we're just going to keep on doing our thing.
Right.
Yeah, we're just going to keep on going through whatever we're going through and just put our head in the sand. And
yeah. And some people, and I don't have this conviction. I mean, I know many churches and pastors that I'm friends with, they almost made the whole service about it.
Sure.
Which is, if that's what their conviction was, that's fine. It was like a time of worship and prayer for the nation. And they just kind of put everything else on hold. And that's one extreme, not a bad one, but that is an extreme to kind of make it all about that on the service. But the other extreme is to not say a word. And so, yeah.
Well, yeah, because that extreme, and the mindset is, well, we don't want to turn off or chase away people who maybe be offended by Charlie Kirk. And like, we want to reach, we love those people. Jesus loves those people. We want them to hear the gospel. And if us talking about Charlie Kirk chases them away, then it's not worth it. That would maybe be the argument. But I just don't think that's right. Yeah. Because it's like, but I think that's where there's like the beauty where it's like, we'll talk about it, we'll mention it, but we won't make the whole service about it, because Charlie Kirk's not the answer. Jesus Christ is the answer. But Charlie Kirk was someone who loved Jesus and was part of the body of Christ, and he stood for the truth. And if you don't like the truth, you're not going to like Jesus Christ. Like, if you, if you're not able to, I don't think you don't have to love Charlie Kirk to be a Christian, okay. But if you're absolutely against everything that Charlie Kirk taught, you're not going to like Jesus.
You might not really like his word.
Yeah, you're not going to like the word of God. Yeah, so that's,
sure.
Yeah, and so it's like, yeah. And it's just crazy. Like, imagine, like, in the early church, it's like, oh, Peter was crucified. We're not going to talk about him because Peter said some things politically that some people didn't. Like, no, he's part of the church. Like, of course, he's a Christian. It's like, he was a martyr. And it's like, yeah, to not mention someone who was martyred for Jesus.
Did I send you that AI thing?
No, but there's a lot of AI stuff going around. It's crazy on Facebook how much AI stuff's going around. It's really bad.
That's a whole nother thing
It's
we're learning
really
with this
bad.
situation.
Yeah.
And so many people, and I hate to say it, boomers get sucked into
They
it
just,
it's real.
well, it's like this whole thing where it's like, Erica Kirk is suing the bodyguard because blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, she's not. And you're just saying this to get shares and clicks and views.
It's insane.
And there's a way where that's not that dangerous. But it's just like, yeah, it's
just lies that are getting spread, and even if they're not dangerous lies, they're lies. It's not truth, and it's like, stop it.
Yeah.
And I don't know why some people have a hard time seeing it. I mean, I think our generation can recognize AI stuff
quicker.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
it can't. For a second, I was like, wait, what? And it's like, oh wait, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's getting when that's all you see. It can get a little hard sometimes when it's just and for some reason it stays on Facebook because I think that's where the people who fall for it
yes,
are.
That's the demographic.
Yeah, you don't really see too much of the fake stuff on Instagram yet, but yeah, it's interesting. Wow,
so
Hagen.
We keep moving forward, but like I told my Bible class the next day, I said, "This is history."
Mm-hmm.
I said, there's never been a public assassination like this in my generation or my parents, really. This is the kind of stuff that is written in history books, and you are witnessing it. This is a big deal. Do not think that this happens all the time. It does not.
Yeah.
You're a kid. You don't understand it. This is a big deal. So just realize you're living in something that is a precipice of America history.
Yeah.
So
bigger deal than 9/11. Maybe
yes.
not. Well, we talked about this. For us, it is. For our generation. Because, sorry, 9/11 doesn't affect me very much.
Sure.
I wasn't there.
Yeah.
I wasn't alive.
Yeah.
Most people, I mean, anyone born after 2004, which is a lot of people.
Yeah, 2001.
Yeah, you're right, golly.
2001.
Yeah, anyone born after 2001. So I was born in 2003. That's why I was thinking of that.
Yeah.
So anyone who's like 24 or younger, and even the people who are kind of like if they're 1 year old,
Sure.
it doesn't really, like you could say like it made the TSA. It's like, well, that's just not that.
Yes.
Like there's stuff that happened there that was important with our rights and going to war and all that, but like that's 25 years ago.
Yeah.
It's ancient history.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's like it's important, but it's like this is the thing that's
affecting this
that's
generation.
affected our generation.
Yeah.
In 25 years from now, I'll say like, wow, you weren't even born when Charlie Kirk
That's right.
was assassinated.
You're so young.
Yeah, and then something else will be happening, and it's like, oh wow, and it'll be for that generation. So, but by then I'll be 47, so 46.
Wow.
So, yeah,
Goes by fast.
it goes by fast. And once you're in your 40s, it's like you're not even really important anymore. I'm
Is that
kidding.
how it goes?
Yeah,
Yikes.
kidding. I'm kidding.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, tragedy, it's terrible, but I mean, I think even though it'll be a little more than a week once this drops, I think it's obvious the way God has been using this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not to say God did this. I do not think God did this. I
Mhm.
think Satan did this, but God takes what's meant for evil and he uses it for good, just like
Mhm.
we saw in Genesis 50:20. So that's what's happening. There was an evil thing that was done, and God is twisting that thing, and he is making it into a great, great thing. And many people are going to know.
Yeah.
I just saw this clip from RFK Jr.
On the show.
He was talking at a press conference.
Oh, was he?
Sorry. And he said that I think his daughter was just going to Europe like very recently. And I don't remember if this was like recently within days or just like months. But she put her Bible in her backpack. And he said, "Why are you taking your Bible?" And she said something along the lines of, I want to be like Charlie Kirk, or I want to be able to believe the things like he believes, and like packed her Bible so she could read it.
Wow.
And it's like, huh.
That's cool.
Yeah.
We'll end with this verse. Cliche, but this verse did come to my mind. The
Is it
day that
Romans 8?
the day Charlie Kirk got shot. Daniel chapter 12 verse 3 says this: "Those who are wise shall shine like the brightness of the firmament, and those who turn many to righteousness like the stars forever and ever." And I believe Charlie Kirk is going to shine like a star forever and ever in eternity because he turned many to righteousness.
Yeah.
And I think that's the goal, hopefully, for all of us. So we'll end with that, I guess.
Amen. And many believed that he was presidential material.
Oh, for sure.
Many were thinking that, within the next decade he would run for president and maybe get it. Many believed that talked with him that he was going to be the Billy Graham of our generation, that he had a heart for not just what he was doing politically, but a heart for evangelism and apologetics. And for whatever type of impact he could have had in all of that life, how much impact is his death having? Huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
And I don't know, but I can almost say I'm sure if you could ask him right now, was it worth it? He would say yes.
Yeah.
And even though it sucks for his wife and his kids, and it's terrible tragedy, even they will one day be able to see the fruit of this and say it was worth it.
Yeah. And we could talk about this forever, but I think, like you said, for the next Billy Graham is going to have to be someone like Charlie Kirk, who's not afraid to talk about politics. Because, and this is kind of goes back to the whole idea of like separation, and we just kind of want to hide, but it's like you cannot separate Jesus from politics, especially in our evangelism, because the big issues of our world, abortion, transgender, homosexuality, all those things that people are actually the real issues are all issues that Jesus has the answer to, but they're political issues. So for us to be able to effectively evangelize, we need to be political in a way, in a very real way, a very, very real way.
And I was going to say this Sunday, but I couldn't work it. It was a liner I wanted to say, but I couldn't fit it in where I wanted to in a natural way. But people say religion is getting much more political. No, politics is getting much more religious. The issue of politics are spiritual issues. It's not that the church is getting political all of a sudden. It's what the battlegrounds are on the political level are spiritual issues. That's why it feels like the church is getting political. It's not. It's politics that's moved into the spiritual world. The issue is no longer foreign policy. The issue is no longer should you tax people 25% or 30%, and what should you do with that money? The issues are good and evil. The issues are righteousness and unrighteousness. The issues are life and death, light and darkness. These are the issues, and that's why you see this, what appears from our vantage point to be filling up the church more, but that's not what's happening. It's that the church has politics crossing its bounds, and the church is just continuing to do what it's always done, or what it should have always done.
Amen. Facts.
There we have it.
Yeah. So be political. Be a Christian.
Yes.
Start small.
Start small.
Oh, touch the mic with my nose. Well, let's end it there. See you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.